There we go. Let's get Facebook in here. And we can kick off this morning show. Talking a little ball, hanging out. Ooh, man, it is nice and cold here. Boom and boom. All right. Welcome in. Welcome in. It is Friday morning, the 5th of December. Happy holiday season, Eric. I know you're a big time Christmas guy. I like it too, but not as much as my wife or my father. My father is Mr. Christmas. He's crazy. But welcome in. It's a good time. I got my favorite coffee mug too. I know it says Merry Christmas. Don't cancel me. Happy holidays. I don't care. Just be pleasant. That's at the end of the day. But it fits just so well in my hand every year. Like if my wife steals this specific mug from me, I get pissed. Because this is my mug. I have a very special bond with it. How are you doing? Are you all decorated already? Are you one of those like November 1st? We're on it kind of people. Yeah.
Yeah,
I figured.
November 1st. It's the deal I have with my wife. Although I've been really pushing, starting in September, putting them up September 1st because it started the Burr months. But the wife isn't having it. And yeah, I'm a big Christmas guy. I see the Christmas tree in the background for you now. It's great to see. I love this time of year. And talking about Mr. Christmas, I don't know if anybody beats one of my brothers who he puts up 12 Christmas trees every single year.
Man, that's a lot.
12 of them. We only have 3, but it's always great, especially when you have little ones. With the Christmas magic still, being so big and everything, it's always such an enjoyable time of year. And doing advent calendars with the little one, we've been doing those. We have way too many of those as well, but it is what it is, and it just helps keep the Christmas magic alive even when you get a little bit older.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We also had our first big snow. Those who are listening in Denver, which I wasn't really enjoying too much because I had to clean off both cars and it was icy. And we have a garage right now, but we're in a townhouse, so the garage is being used as like a de facto basement, so we can't park the cars in there. I mean, it's going to be spring before we're unpacked in this house, I think, but hard to do with a kid and full-time work and everything, and still have a relationship with your partner and everything else. But no, yeah, it's good. Yeah, my kid was 23 months as of yesterday, and we got him starting to say, ho, 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 Merry Christmas. And it is, oh my God, it is. I don't think I've ever loved anything as much. Other than you guys in the chat, of course, and covering this Denver Bronco team on Monday and Friday mornings with Broncos for breakfast. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. And if you got any burning questions that you want us to get into, Adam, I mean, obviously it's the Raiders game here, and we hate the Raiders. It's a weird atmosphere now going to Vegas because they've pretty much gutted it's a bowl game atmosphere, I guess, to an extent, because they gutted the home field advantage moving from the Coliseum. It's all luxury boxes now, and it's a travel destination, which, like, credit to the Davises, I guess, to an extent. Like, what a business model. Like, how many they're going to always sell tickets because opposing fans want to go there to see it in the beautiful, Alliance, whatever stadium it is. But man, as far as like a home field advantage for the Raiders, probably never again. Probably never more. So yeah, it's a bummer for them, but good for Broncos. We have 2 of our divisional games essentially are 2 satellite Broncos games in a sense. So that's awesome. Let's say hello to folks in the chat. We got our guy David Yunkin in the house. I say no. So the prompt is, can Denver... Oh, I didn't put a space in there. Man, gosh darn it. That's what you try to do when your wife's still asleep typing in the room. But can Denver win in convincing fashion? He says no. 3 reasons. 1, Sean has to get calls in quicker. 2, stop with the self-inflicted mistakes. 3, defense must shut down Geno. Well, they shut down Geno pretty well last time, and the Raiders are in a little bit of transition right now. They fired their special teams coach, Tom McMahon. Shout out Tom McMahon, former Broncos special teams coach. They fired Chip Kelly. There's a lot of dysfunction going on there with Chip Kelly getting the calls in, maybe some differences of opinion on direction and philosophy for the offense from Pete Carroll. But really, I mean, feels like we're getting an Iowa Hawkeye problem here in the Raiders, Eric. Nepotism, Carroll's son's offensive line coach. I think another one is maybe quarterback coach or something as well. And they are not good. And the offensive line is the worst in football. So why could the Broncos win in convincing fashion in this one? If we get Bo Nix like we've gotten the last 2 weeks, and the Broncos line plays how they should against the Raiders line, you hope that they win by 10 points. You hope that they win. We'll see. I mean, we see. I got to get Chad my prediction. I just remembered. But you hope that they win by 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a good team. Their defense does some things well, which you would expect with Patrick Graham as their DC, but they still have they're very susceptible into the passing game still. Although they did a great job in the first matchup, but we've seen Bo Nix kind of step back and prove himself since then. So hopefully, we don't get the same Bo Nix we did with the first one, which might have been the worst game in Bo Nix's career with how bad he looked.
That Titans game, I'd go with the Seattle game on the road. His very first one was.
See, I give that little context of that was his first game on the road. So, and then they're actually a pretty good run defense. They're about middle of the pack, but they actually have a higher stuff rate than the Broncos do. They're actually second highest stuff rate against the run, but part of that comes with the fact that they stack the box 50% of the time. So as it was with the last game, if the Broncos can find a way to make them pay for stacking the box and staying in their what is their de facto base package, where they bring the one safety down and use him as an extra linebacker so much. Adams. Yeah, Jamal Adams. They're basically he's just a linebacker for them.
He's a dime backer.
Yeah. If they're able to take advantage of that, then this offense should have success. And as for the defense, with the way this offensive line is, with how beat up they are, they have 4 replacements on their offensive line right now, and they have 3 of them, and they might have a 4th one depending on the health of one, because Jordan Meredith, who's been a starter, he's hurt. Will Putnam, who's their backup center, he's been hurt, and then their other guard has been hurt as well, whose name escapes me at the moment. Dylan Parham. So they're very beat up. Obviously, no Colton Miller, and Stone Forsythe has been absolutely awful. The Broncos, they got after Geno Smith in the first one. They really controlled the trenches and the line of scrimmage defensively. I would expect much of the same. Question is, can they shut down Brock Bowers again? Because there were missed opportunities for the Raiders offense in that first game where Brock Bowers was getting open, but Geno Smith just wasn't looking his way and trying to force the ball elsewhere, or just didn't have the time to do it. So got to be able to handle Brock Bowers in this one, especially after what Zach Ertz did to this defense in the Commanders game.
Yeah, good call. Let's say hello to some more folks coming in here. Click the thumbs up on the way in, and share, like, spread the love. We always do appreciate that as well. Good morning, David. Thank you so much. We got Coach Chris coming in. Always love seeing the Big Lebowski on here with his profile picture. He says, good morning. Good Bronco morning. Absolutely. I don't know if we're going to get much of a orange and blue sunrise today, but maybe we will. Not up yet. We got our guy Denver Luke coming in as well. Always one of the good ones with supporting the coffee. At some point, we're going to get you drinking coffee, Eric. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. It's either that or White Monster. You pick your path. There's no other way forward. Yeah, thank you, Coach. Appreciate you. We got Sile coming in here. I think that's how we pronounce it. Sile, I love the profile picture, but every time I see it, it gives me a jump scare because I see the Chiefs. Like it's small enough that the Chiefs are obvious. It's obviously the crying Jordan behind it, but I'm like, God, we always got this Chiefs. Oh, it's Sile in here, and he's predicting this is a convincing fashion, in my opinion. 30-10. I mean, 20-point win. If you win by double digits, it's probably convincing. Now, there's obviously different pathways, but this is a beatdown, and I'm here for it. This is the offense probably being efficient and the defense taking care of business after falling a little bit the last few weeks in the efficiency. I think they've fallen more to the second tier of defenses right now. They're not fighting with the Seahawks, the Texans, maybe even the Rams, although the Rams got a little bit exposed with some good design versus the Panthers and isolating Emmanuel Forbes this last week. But the Denver, hopefully, I mean, this is a game I want to get them back on track, because if this team is going to go far in the playoffs, I don't think the offense is all of a sudden going to miraculously become top 10 down the stretch. You need the defense to be top 3. And right now they're playing more like a top 5 or 6, which is still great. Like, that's still great defense. Don't get me wrong. But better tackling hopefully will solve a lot of that, and not playing Kansas City, who's left a lot on the field, but there was opportunities to be had, like you talked about the Raiders as well.
Yeah, I mean, this one thing about this defense too is that they are a prideful unit, and going with what Kyle says about how they have something to prove, they definitely have something to prove, and they know it. They don't like what happened against the Commanders game. They don't like with how they were able to move the ball.
Kyle,
they're going to take a lot of.
My bad. I was like, oh, duh, Nick. See, I haven't had enough coffee yet. Is the issue? God bless it, Kyle. Duh.
And with how the Commanders move the ball with that quicker pass game and the little pressure they're able to generate up front, and then the run game, I would have I have no doubt in my mind that this defense and Vance Joseph, they've put their head down. So they're going to figure out how to keep that from happening again. They're going to make sure that the Commanders did not lay the blueprint on how to move the ball and have success against this defense. And they're going to do what they can to take that away, because really that would be the Raiders' opening to move the ball. They don't have the pieces to really have that downfield passing game outside of Bowers. They have pieces for that quicker passing game. So how are they going to handle that? I expect the defense to come out and, have another great game. They only allowed like 180 some odd total yards in offense last year, or in last game. One of my bold predictions for this week is that they actually allow even fewer total offensive yards to the Raiders this week because of how prideful that unit is.
And also, let's just call a spade a spade. Mariota's played decent. I mean, I know you want to take PFF grades with a grain of salt, but he's like top 7 grade for PFF this season. I think he's a pretty good match for what Cliff Kingsbury wants to do in that offense. And he probably, that was a starter caliber performance this season. I haven't watched too much Commanders on the whole. I did watch him play Atlanta where he was bad. I think that was his first start of the season. But since then, he's been playing decent football. Like, he hasn't been the issue on that team, the infrastructure wise. Like, that was winning caliber football. So I don't know what his contract is, but I would imagine, the stopgap, that you can do worse if you are sitting there and left out of the musical chairs that is the quarterback class coming up here. But I was impressed. It was kind of like when we played, not to the same extent, but like when we played Daniel Jones week 2, it was like, defenses obviously could play a little better, but like, he's avoiding sacks and he's hitting tough throws repeatedly. So, I think there was a little bit of a schematic advantage. VJ got out schemed in that one too, but shout out to Mariota. I don't think it was all the defense, laying an egg. It was like, oh man, he's on a heater right now. So God bless him. We got David Youngkin, 7-3 Broncos, just to make the media mad again. Yeah, I don't know. Nitro Pheasant coming in here. Cool name. Says, I'm becoming an American citizen. God bless America. Well, hallelujah. Good to see you, Nitro. Cool name. And congrats to you, man. That's a big deal. Right around the holidays too. Hopefully you have friends and family that can celebrate with you. But I'll toast to that. So appreciate you, Nitro, coming in and announcing the good news. We're here for the good vibes. Appreciate you so much. We got Rob Bucksbum coming in here. Good morning, Nick and Eric. Happy Friday. Will Allen play? Zach Allen? Is Zach Allen on the injury report? Yeah,
he popped up on the injury report yesterday.
The two were Zach Allen and Pat Bryant, right? Bryant had an injury pop up too. Allen did. I'm expecting those two to play. The one that I've got my eyes on right now is DJ Jones, who's missed 2 practices. So today will be very indicative. Of course, it was weird to not have Allen on the report Wednesday and then pop up Thursday. Same with Bryant. So did something happen in practice or further testing? I don't know. But I do think Allen will play. The one that, and maybe this means activating Savion Jones. What a good matchup for Savion to get his, sink his teeth into something here with this Raiders offensive line. But DJ Jones is the one I got my eye on in this game personally. But we'll see with today's injury report.
Yeah, DJ Jones. I'm currently not expecting him to play with the ankle injury that he suffered, and it caused him to miss most of the Commanders game. Zach Allen and Pat Bryant, both of them, something happened late in practice on Wednesday, from what I understand, that got them to pop up on the injury report on Thursday. Bryant was limited. Allen did not practice. I still expect both of them to play, but how much we'll have to wait and see on that. Good news on the injury front, though, is Jonah Ellis. He's been full practice all week, so hopefully we should be getting him back. And Nate Adkins, unfortunately, bad news there. They were expecting him back this week and at the latest, and he hasn't practiced yet. So it looks like he is still dealing with something with that knee injury. And now I can't remember who it was. It might have been Mike Kliz or somebody else, but one of them said the view is maybe next week they get him back. So hopefully they do. Hopefully the Broncos are starting to get healthy. We already got some key pieces back from them. But as you said, with DJ Jones most likely not playing, Zach Allen banged up for this one, we're probably going to hopefully see Savion Jones. Who knows, though? They like Jordan Jackson quite a bit, and he's been that, that extra guy up earlier in the season before Uwazurike stepped up. Maybe they go back to Jackson with, Jones maybe not being ready yet.
I'm also wondering about their practice squad nose tackle, right? Brandon Miller? Is that
Jordan Miller?
Jordan Miller. Yeah, excuse me. So with DJ Jones out, maybe he's somebody I know that like you said in private conversations, there's been some, and I wouldn't say excitement, that's the wrong word, but positivity surrounding Jordan Miller as well. And I think he has all call ups. Maybe he's one you don't want to call up because he has a good game and he's immediately poached. I don't know. But just given if DJ Jones is the one out, and if you want to add a little bit more 0-1, some 3 out there rather than, the JFM 4-eye out to 7 technique, that I think Miller makes some sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. I know that they, with Uwazurike, with the way they used him earlier on in the season with Roach out as well, I think that they'll kind of look at Uwazurike to replace some of what Jones is bringing, and then Roach, and then bring in somebody to help with, the kind of cross play that Uwazurike does. I mean, he's more so that 3 technique, doesn't do the whole lot of that 4, but there's been occasions where he has in certain situations. So I don't know. I think that my best guess is that they would actually Jordan Jackson will be active, just because the issues with Savion Jones against the run and DJ Jones being such a big part of the run defense, and missing that, Uwazurike helping fill that a little bit, Malcolm Roach filling that they'll look to help fill that run defense, because Zach Allen, he's not as bad against the run as Pro Football Focus likes to make him out to be, but he has struggled the last couple games, especially the Commanders game, and John Frankenmeyers is really bad against the run. I think they'll look for somebody to be a little bit more solid against the run instead of Savion Jones, who that may very well be a liability against the run still after what we saw in the preseason out of him.
Yeah, which is not, it's disappointing, but it's not unexpected either, given his role and what he did at LSU. I got 2 more questions for you on the injury front. First from Kyle. Sorry your boss called you that. I can't believe it. Thanks for being gracious and not giving me a hard time. D says, what's the timetable on Ben Powers? I know the original report was mid-December. So I think after this game, we're on activation watch for him. Now, that doesn't mean it will happen. Also, bummer in hindsight, the Broncos didn't put Atkins on the IR, because this will be game number 5, I believe. 6 weeks, game 5. He injured the same time as Patrick Surtain. So this would be game 5 for him being out. So, I mean, maybe that's the difference of getting Dameon Pierce or not. You have that one extra spot. I mean, granted, does he matter? I don't even know. But still, for the roster math, it does matter at the end of the day. And I did also want to, so Ben Powers timeline and Drew Sanders. There was some talk about that last week as well. Some progress from, I think we heard it directly from Sean Payton talking about him. Might have been Vance Joseph, but no, I've heard nothing this week on Drew Sanders.
Yeah, with Ben Powers, not this week. Obviously, if he was, I think they would have been activating him by now. He's not even practicing yet, which probably puts in doubt next week as well. But next week was the that first game where they were looking at potentially getting Ben Powers back. So it's who is next week? Is it the Packers or the Jaguars?
I believe
either way,
the Packers. I think
either way, one of those 2 games is when you're looking at getting Ben Powers back, and then Drew Sanders, from other things that I've seen mentioned by some of the Broncos beat reporters and stuff like that, it sounds like that. I'm pretty sure it was Sean Payton's comments, but whoever made the comments, it sounded like those were more coach speak than anything. They were asked specifically about Drew Sanders, and so they're touching on that. But it really doesn't sound like they're expecting him back this season, or even really want him back this season. So it was one thing, and I mentioned this here before. Drew Sanders was going to get cut before he got hurt. He wasn't making this roster, and it just seems like they're moving forward without him because he's on injured reserve, and they're just going to keep going that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll see. Things change, obviously. Luckily, we do have Singleton back, and you have depth at the linebacker spot. Is Reed going to be back this season? I can't remember. Corinne Reed, because he had some special teams value. I don't think he was season-ending IR.
I don't think he was season-ending injured reserve, but I don't know if they're necessarily betting on him coming back either.
Running back, yeah, we'll see.
I think it's just one of those things of, if they suffer another injury at linebacker that they have, and looking at it, looks like Reed's not even eligible to come back until week 16 at the earliest in the first place.
Okay, I think he got hurt in the Raiders game, I want to say, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, he got hurt. He got hurt in week 10, so he was missed. This would be his 3rd game.
11, 13, second, wouldn't it be? Because the bye week.
this upcoming game would be his third game missed.
Okay, yeah. Yep, we're on the same page. Perfect. We see we got there. Math is hard. I almost finished my coffee already, so I'm in trouble. Zigzag. This is a bot name. Zigzag Chiefs. He says Broncos will not be taking the promised land by Bo Nix. Statistically speaking, you're probably right? Like how many quarterbacks have even won the Super Bowl in the last decade? So who knows? But I think the Broncos, as far as like, there's a fallacy in here. I can't like a assumed fact that's maybe not a fact, but let's just assume Bo Nix is the 16th best quarterback in the NFL this season. I think with the state of the AFC, the Broncos defense being, if they, rebound top 3, top 2, top 1, offensive line, top 5, and the coaching staff, a lot of faith in the coaching staff getting together a good week by week game plan. It could happen this season. Now, people will discredit the Broncos, kind of like, they've been doing all season. If that did happen, maybe not. I'm sure there would still be some naysayers because of the bias built in. I mean, I'm still skeptical this is a 10-2 quality team, but they are their record. And the one thing the Broncos don't have right now that, like, let's again, assuming a question that is Bo Nix is the 16th, 14th best quarterback in the NFL. Let's even say 12th. I don't think the run game is good enough to carry them week by week, unless we see the floor of Bo Nix's play, what we've seen the last 2 weeks. Like if he can take it to another level and not dip below that, which means multiple games in a row, which you're going to have to do in the playoffs, then that'll be tough. That'll be tough for the Broncos. One thing I will say, Eric, I'm kind of on a tangent right now, but Broncos have been, since Dobbins has went out, been one of the worst down-to-down like efficiency run teams in football, like your success rate. And Bo Nix had been bottom 3 out of like 35 in success rate in the pass game. Last 2 weeks, he's been, not including yesterday's game, but he's been 13th in success rate. So that helps a lot because Broncos have been horrible with 3 and outs, have been leading the league in punts and whatnot. They just first and second down, first and third quarter. Bo Nix has been poor. Second and fourth quarter, third down, been pretty good. Those are the money downs. Let's get those first ones a little better, but baby, then we can play a little bit more consistent throughout a game. But Bo Nix playing this level at least does help alleviate some of the desperate need for the run game, but they still need it. They still need it at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's at a point where I don't know if they get it figured out this year without, J.K. Dobbins, without Ben Powers still for probably another game or two. It's RJ Harvey as a runner. It's not even boom or bust because he gets that one good run, maybe 2 good runs out of 10 plus carries. That's not very boom or bust. And, he did have a decent success rate against the Commanders, but it was helped by the touchdowns that he got. He had 4 successful runs on 13 carries. Still not, great by any means.
Mm-hmm.
Still not over that 50% mark that you're really looking for. RJ Harvey has been rough as a runner. He's made a big impact as a receiver throughout the season, but a runner, I mean, you can look back at all of his runs and find maybe 10 impactful carries that he's had on the season. And that's not what they're expecting. They're really looking at him at being a Jahmyr Gibbs kind of player for them within this offense. Just hasn't looked at, because Gibbs, he has that impact as a receiver, but he also makes it as a runner. And on that, it's like when Ben Powers was in and they had J.K. Dobbins, so the first 5 weeks, they were averaging 140.6 yards per game rushing. When Powers went down in the 5 games after that, it was 116.6. So 30-yard drop off there with losing Ben Powers. And now without both of them in the last 2 games, granted a smaller sample size, 73 yards per game. They don't know what it is. And kind of a side rant here, side tangent, is the way that Sean Payton talks about, we're fine with the running back room. Why? You shouldn't be. Like, I understand it's coach speak, but you got to figure out something. You can't just keep banging your head against the wall with these 3 running backs that you have who aren't getting the job done. And, if you want Bo Nix to continue playing at this level, he either has to figure out how to do that without a run game, or you find a run game to help take that pressure off of him, which is what you want to do when you have a younger, lesser experienced quarterback in the NFL. And, it's only his second season, and you need that run game for him to work off of to help make this offense even more effective and dangerous because of how much they like to use the pass game off the running game.
Yeah. I think that the reason he's talking about this is because he knows that no running back's probably coming to save this room this season at this point. And your best chance out is RJ Harvey emerging. So he's going to do kind of like when Bo Nix was struggling last season, keep talking him up, saying that he's doing all the right things. And you hope that it takes off, something clicks. And RJ Harvey, I mean, the build he has, the twitch that he has, I mean, in theory, right? In theory, it might come together. And for the Broncos to go where they want to go, it kind of has to. So I understand that perspective from the coaching staff. You don't want to be out there disparaging that guy. He's not running with confidence and trusting himself right now anyways. So I don't want him questioning things. So I take it the optimistic view. Maybe it's pessimistic, but it's like RJ Harvey has to emerge if this is going to happen for us in the run game this season. Unless J.K. Dobbins miraculously comes back. I know there's some talk about it. I'm more skeptical about that than almost anything they've said.
AFC Championship game at the earliest.
Yeah, I'm even skeptical about that. But we'll see. And then also, if he does come back, what does that look like? But who knows? We'll get there when we get there. Perry West, good morning, guys. Good to see you, Perry. Appreciate you. We got David Quintina coming in here. Quintana, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, says, we survive like always, defense is carrying. So is the offensive line to an extent. One thing I did want to get into, Eric, offensive line, praise them pretty consistently. It's probably really one of the big indicators of team success this season. Honestly, like it's a binary. Do you have a good enough offensive line or not? But the Broncos offensive line had a poor game against the Raiders. It might've been their worst game of the year, considering the competition. Now, Max Crosby's great, but Bo Nix, his under pressure dropbacks were higher than the highest total this season for percentage wise, if that makes sense. So like it would have been, if like that level of pressure rate had continued every single game this season, the Broncos would be the most pressured dropback pass game in the NFL. That they might be 2 or 3. I might be off just by a little bit. They were pressured a lot in that game. Hopefully the offensive line looks at that tape as well and comes together and plays a better game, because they were not good versus the Raiders on the whole. Now, stepped up late, but that was one where Bo Nix was under duress quite a bit, much more. I would imagine it was their worst game of the year.
In terms of quarterback pressure percentage, that was the third highest rate that they allowed this season, behind the Chargers, who were 43.8, and then the Texans. They were just barely behind the Texans. And it's the Max Crosby and everybody else show. And in that first game, it wasn't just Max Crosby. I mean, they got a lot of pressure from elsewhere. One of the interior defensive linemen was all over the place in the backfield for them. So they were getting pressure all over, and they were doing so with Bo Nix holding on to the ball decently long. It was the fourth highest time to pressure for it, and it was one of Bo Nix's higher time to throw. So you got to get the ball out a little bit quicker. Even though he did well in the first game against the Raiders, I'm really concerned about Alex Palczewski after what he's shown the last couple weeks. He has been a liability on this offensive line. I mean, when you turn it back on the tape against the Chiefs and the Commanders, there were multiple times where he just standing there looking as a guy runs by him. Like, he just got beat that quickly, and he just was like stun locked for a second with what is he supposed to do. And with the way that the Raiders have really started to use, and Patrick Graham has started to use Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson with, those stunts on that left side, I have a lot of worry about Alex Palczewski in this one, especially in the run game when they bring over Tyson Leluo. I can't remember, and have him go set up the edge against that left guard. They do that a lot. That's a key component of their rushing defense, and why they're middle of the pack, but why they're so boom or bust is, does he hit or not? And man, hopefully, obviously Mike McGlinchey has to hold up against Max Crosby. They like to throw him out there, and he's such a game wrecker, but I'm more concerned about Alex Palczewski in this one than I am Mike McGlinchey. I think it's been very clear that he isn't, you keep talking about he's been admirable, which is true. He's the third guy in on at left guard, but his level of play has been very clearly not starter capable, that he is a backup quality at best offensive lineman.
Yeah. Just looking at the stats here. So the games where he's had the most pressures this season, he had 15 versus the Giants, but he had 56 dropbacks. Yeah. He had 15 versus Houston, but he had 39 dropbacks. Only 30 dropbacks versus the Raiders, and still 13 pressures. So I'm sure the percentages there are close. He had 16 against the Chiefs with 41 dropbacks. So only having 30 dropbacks and being pressured at that rate is pretty crazy overall. I didn't pull up the time to throw also, but looking for better from the offensive line here in this one. Really no other option here. I mean, again, we talked about it as if this team is going to go to the promised land, you need the offensive line, defense, coaching staff to be top 5 or 3, unless Bo Nix, takes another step, which I don't think is the expectation for him, and also not the level of was it a successful season for Bo Nix? I don't know if it's the recent 2 weeks of him playing better that have made me softer on him as well, or just seeing how bad the Broncos run game is as well. But it's it can't. I know the bar is the superstar quarterbacks, but it is a team game at the end of the day. I mean, the Chiefs have a superstar quarterback, the Bills do, and the team is not good enough around them. So it's not all on Bo Nix. We got Benjamin Flores morning. We better stomp the Raiders to bits. Let's freaking go. Thanks for all you guys do. Go Broncos. We got Magica7648 coming in here over on YouTube, watching on the horizontal. So I'm surprised I can fit my head on the screen on the vertical read. He says, I think we need more involvement from Mims. He was too good with the ball in his hands. I almost wonder if that's something the Broncos have I talked about it with Bo Nix's run game a lot when people were screaming for it, week 8 or 9. And I think it's a break glass in case of emergency thing, where it's nice to have in your pocket. And I almost wonder, Eric, if you talk about the running back room not being added, you see Elijah Moore being added. Maybe they're working on some Mims backfield usage as well, especially if you can't run the ball anyway. I mean, if you can use him in a Sproulsian kind of package every now and then, I'm not in the goal to go, and I'm not talking more than 5 times a game, but add a little bit more dynamism in your personnel, and Mims probably brings that. Even though Harvey's been good out of the backfield, it's not he's not a wide receiver like Mims is. He doesn't have the same speed that Mims has. Mims on a wheel out of the backfield. Get on your horse, linebacker. Good luck, especially if you get man. So, yeah, I'm curious about that. But yeah, Mims he's frustrating because you see the flashes and some really good plays at the catch point, but he still struggles with the route running aspect. And I feel like we're probably capping the ceiling a bit on him at this point with expectation. I think if he was going to be a super top 2 wide receiver on any team, he probably would have emerged by now, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not holding my breath for Marvin Mims to, be that traditional number 2 wide receiver. I think he can be a number 4, number 5 player in the offense with his gadgetry that you're able to use him and move him around and do different things with him. And we saw a little bit of that against the Commanders. I think he lined up in the backfield once. And then he also had that run, which might have been on the same one. I can't remember exactly. But, with the way the run game is, you got to figure out some way to get it working. And whether it's putting Mims in the backfield a little bit more often to just, even with Harvey back there, even if it's just to create some added confusion for the defense of how are they going to cover these 2 guys, because they're probably 2 of the faster guys on the offense. Sean Payton's got to figure out something, right? I mean, that's what it all comes down to, something to help get the running game going a little bit. And if you can create that confusion, then maybe you can do some, option stuff off of it with Bo Nix. With those 2 guys, you can have that threat of the receiving out of the backfield, especially with Marvin Mims, as you mentioned, on wheel route against man coverage. That's almost a gimme. So it's unfortunate because you want more out of Mims than a gadgetry player on offense. And when Denver drafted him, they were wanting more out of him. But he's a guy for you want to try to manufacture touches for, and with how his play style is, with the issues with the route running, with the issues with physicality throughout his routes too, where he's very easy to get pushed off his route, then lining him out of the backfield is probably the way to go to help protect him a little bit and keep him from facing that contact and get him out in space a little bit easier and manufacture those touches.
We'll see. Again, it's one of those things where maybe you don't want to unveil it until you have to, somewhat, and we haven't really had to yet. But with where the running back position is right now, I mean, throw a bleep at a wall and see what happens. We got It's Lit Toilet coming in saying, great boogers today. Thank you, It's Lit Toilet. I don't know what that means, but it's awesome. And I'm glad it's lit boogers. 6'7", whatever the kids say. We got DeMarc De Gasol coming in and says, talk about the Avalanche. You got the best player in the world in hockey and basketball, yet you're spending hours talking about Bo Nix. Eric, I have not watched a single NBA or NHL game in 2 years. I and the only time I actually watched any NHL was on like bars at breweries with friends when the Kraken were in the playoffs when I lived in Seattle. There's a lot of really good people who cover the Nuggets and the Avalanche. It's not for me. And if, let's say I worked for the Denver Gazette or Post or something like local full-time here, sure. But I mean, for me, it's NFL, college football, baseball. Other sports don't exist. I mean, I'll watch like the World Cup, I guess, when it comes around a little bit too, just for like the fancy of it, the spectacle. And I'll watch like, the Olympics on in the background, but I'm not live, breathe, and die enough to be able to talk about it intelligently and have conversation with you guys where it's just like, we're prepared, but it's not like we're preparing for a presentation in here. This is just in our brains having a discussion about football. So thank you for the comment, DeMarco. Appreciate you. But this is going to be Broncos, some college football dabbled in, just the natural progression of NFL draft all the time. And that's our niche. So, yeah.
I haven't watched a hockey game since the late 1990s.
Okay. Yeah. I watch like the Olympic hockey. Like that's like,
I mean, I guess Olympic hockey, but NHL hockey. And like with your order of it, I'd put Olympics above college football. I can have a serious conversation about the Olympics. Love the Olympics.
Okay.
But basketball, I know a little bit more about basketball than I do, some of the other sports, but haven't watched a full basketball game in 10 years. Like, so I know the players. I know what teams most of them are on, but that's about it.
Like one of the best players' name is Shai Gilgeous something, SGA, and it's Jokic is the best. So don't come at me, Denver fans. But I'm a diehard Hawkeye, right? And I'm like, I won't even put them on unless I know they're good because I don't have enough time, brain power to like commit to them intellectually and emotionally unless I like know they're going to be good. Fair weather, you bet your ass. You bet your ass for that. I don't. It is what it is. We got Michael Ronquillo in the house. Good morning. Good to see you. Appreciate you. I also saw he said my favorite dog Summit in the background. I don't know if you can see behind him too, but the cat's on the bed as well. You can't see it on the vertical, but the cat's back there as well. So we got the whole gangbang hanging out, having a good time. Appreciate you. Our guy, Mark Schrader. I don't know if I got this one already, but good to see you, Mark. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. We got Deb coming in here. So good to see you, Deb. Says, morning, you're right. It does take the whole team. Hope the whole offense comes to the game, supports Knicks and the defense as well. Special teams, penalties, takeaways from the defense. I mean, it's going to take a lot. I mean, I don't want to sound like, oh yeah, look at me, look how smart I am. If anybody like would sit down and understand the game to the minimum level that I do and like look at the numbers, it'd be like, okay, well, Bo Nix isn't playing like a top 5, FU quarterback where you can just like show up every week and that's fine. Again, that's whatever. But you look at the numbers and it's the penalties and the takeaways from the defense, specifically 2 areas that the Broncos are in the red. I guess you can put it like one of the bottom 3 to 5 teams in the NFL in those metrics. And those matter a lot for your team. So we've been talking about that since probably week 5, Eric, like when we started to get enough of a sample, being like, hey, that doesn't look great. And we had Sean Payton talk about it on the Wednesday or Monday press conference in the bye week as well. I don't know what the dog's doing. God bless him. Silly. But it's those are areas that are pretty obvious as well that are still questionable. I don't remember exactly what the numbers came out with the Commanders game. I think it was like 5 penalties, but the Commanders got 3 first downs off the penalties too. So It's not always the penalty number or the penalty yards. It's how impactful the penalties are. That's one reason EPA lost on penalties is probably a good indicator because it's really measures those game swinging ones. And you lose a lot of EPA, especially that last one they had where it was a game winning interception or deflection and Hufanga made the penalty. So yeah, those are the big ones for the Broncos right now outside of Bo Nix continuing this floor. It doesn't even necessarily have to be the ceiling jumping. And also the figuring out something on the run game. God bless.
Yeah, I mean, we can spend a whole hour talking about the issues with the run game and all that. That's a very obvious one, as highlighted, especially with Powers and Dobbins out, RJ Harvey, McLaughlin, and Bidet, who's not even getting chances to run the ball. He has 2 carries on the season for 9 yards. So maybe Bidet is the answer to the run game. I don't know, but they got to figure out something. there. Defensively, as you said, it's not necessarily always just the penalties. It's when the penalties come. Against Commanders, they did only have 5, but 3 of them gave the Commanders first downs, and 2 of them, those first downs led to points on those drives. And Vance Joseph, after the game against Kansas City Chiefs, where they chalked up 17 points due to penalties for the Chiefs, well, you can chalk up, I think, 10 points to penalties for the Commanders, because they kept drives alive on third down with penalties, or in the case of that Hufanga one, took away an interception that would have clinched the game for them. So those are moments where you gotta correct, especially when you are talking about playoff football. You can't have the self-inflicted wounds with penalties like that and then takeaways. We've been talking about that all season long. Talanoa Hufanga would have like 27,000 picks right now if he could actually catch the ball, and it's frustrating to see. And then you have 3 interceptions now that have been taken away because of penalties, so they're even going hand in hand a little bit.
Yeah. And SP comes in and says that I love this comment. I don't love the Vance Joseph one. SP says he doesn't care what anyone says. Well, your mind's made up. God bless. I think some of it, and we've talked about it on here before, when you blitz and play as much man coverage as the Broncos do, you're going to be a little bit more prone to the pass interferences, right? You're trailing a guy. You're not playing an area. So odds are you're going to have some down the field issues every now and then. But again, it's the stupid penalties, the procedurals that you get out there that you just cannot have. So I would expect the Broncos to be high in penalties. But again, Sam Hoppin on Twitter, who does a good graphics every week, he works for Fantasy Pros and data scientist at ESPN Bet. But the Broncos have lost the most EPA this season cumulatively due to penalties. Now everybody's in the red with that because penalty, it's just your points lost. Yeah. But Broncos have lost over 78 points from penalties this season. The only teams that are close to them are the Texans at 71. Again, very physical defense. Jags at 70.5. And you got the Giants at 66.8. So, and the EPA doesn't totally account, it's not just the total penalty yards or the total penalty numbers. I think the Bears are number 1 this season in that as well, as far as yardage goes. But it's when they happen, how impactful those are. And Denver's not been good. They have started to move up a little bit in the turnovers, EPA as well, probably because the 2 picks they had in the last 2 games literally took points off the board, right? They were if they weren't goal to go, they were close, right? Patrick Mahomes down the right sideline to J-Mac took points off the board. That's a big EPA swing. And this last one, Mariota to the left side to Dre Greenlaw, field goal range, taking points off the board. So might have even been an early down. So you a first down interception in a goal to go situation, massive EPA swing versus a 4th and 20 on your own 20 down the field, right? So it's fun to look at the graphic that way and interpret the data that way. But yeah, it's been frustrating. So Eric, we want to get to our predictions here as we get out of here. I need to send Chad mine right after we get out of here. I think the Broncos are going to take care of business in this one. I don't think they're going to get the running game going in this one, but I'm predicting 1 explosive from RJ Harvey. Just give me 1. And what do I mean by explosive? A 20-yard run. Let's just bust one once. Sorry, I don't mean to be immature with that. And I expect Bo Nix to have another solid game. Need the offensive line to bounce back. Big one, though, for me is the Broncos' defensive line especially. They were one of their worst games of the season, probably against the Commanders. Tunsil had a pretty good game against Benito. I don't know what the heck Cooper was doing for a lot of that game. But I'm expecting a bounce-back game for the Broncos. So I'm going to go Broncos winning this one 26-10.
Yeah, I don't know my exact prediction, but I know I had the Broncos at it's 35 or 38-9. I remember that. Wow. I think the Broncos are going to make a statement and keep the Raiders out of the end zone, which with the way this Raiders offense is, that's not difficult to do. Now, can this Broncos offense put up 30 points against this defense without a run game? Because I'm with you. I don't expect them to get it together. I do have, I talked about bold predictions. I have 5 of them that are coming out. It's an article every single week that I do. I have Bo Nix getting his 5th game over 300 total yards in this one and really putting the Broncos offense on his back without that run game and getting it going with Evan Ingram being a big part of it. Because with the Raiders defense, there's a mismatch there for Evan Ingram. There was in the first one. Denver just wasn't able to execute and take advantage of it. I think after what he was showing against the Commanders game, they're going to work to keep building that up, and they'll look at taking care of that advantage. So I think Evan Ingram's going to be big reason why Bo Nix in this offense goes off with over 300 yards and, putting 30 some odd points on the board.
Yeah. Yeah. And Vance Joseph, shout out to Mike Kliss, who just tweeted it out, but talking about the defense bouncing back. It was pretty obvious when you watch it in full, but like the tackling was very frustrating.
Yeah.
And VJ had some stats. It was 10 missed tackles for an additional 45 yards. Also, the third down and fourth down defense was not very good. Not very good. They weren't cash money, Eric. Yeah. But do you know about cash money for this week? Because we little inside baseball. We don't have our producer here today, so we are doing the best we can. But I feel like we're always cash at the end of the day. But sometimes it's nice to have a little help.
Yeah, speaking of cash, the holidays are all about finding the perfect gift, but this time of year, not every deal is actually what it seems. Scammers are getting more creative to trick people into sharing their payment info through methods like fake shopping sites and giveaways that are too good to be true. Luckily, Cash App's 24/7 fraud monitoring helps detect and alert you for unusual card activity should someone gain access to your card, so you can act as fast as possible if something seems off. You can also lock or unlock your Cash App card instantly right in the app for extra control and peace of mind. Stay one step ahead of scams this season and keep your money secure with Cash App.
For limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, just download Cash App, use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile. Again, that's SECURE10. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by the Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Incorporated brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Shout out to Dylan. He's out there at Disneyland right now and not keeping us on track. I'll take blame for that one, Eric. You're shaking your head because you wanted to go to that one, but
still waiting for my plane ticket from Dylan to meet him at Disneyland.
Oh man, you would have to pay me to go. Granted, I haven't gone with a kid before, but like that many people in like a cement confines is the opposite of. And I'm a social person, but like get me outside as much as freaking possible.
That's funny because I'm the complete opposite. I am not a very social person, and I absolutely love it. There's something about the chaos of large groups of people that don't want to talk to me. That's a key thing that is just very calming to me. If it's a large group of people and they're like a lot of attention is my way, it's a little bit more difficult, which is one reason why I do have some struggles with the meet and greet. But it's not meet and greet's not that bad. But I'm the complete opposite of you, which is surprising.
I mean, anybody knows us. People loving the comments here. Commercial done. It sounds like the announcer of Micro Machines. I don't know what that is, but we'll take it. Thank you. I'm here all day. Somebody wants to pay me to read ads. I will do that in my free time. Appreciate you. So finally, Eric, we're wrapping on up here. I do expect the Broncos win. Somebody said it earlier. I want to say it was Coach Chris, but what are the real keys here in this one? Like, it'd be nice to feel good, beating this game, especially with the Packers coming up, like getting the offense online. I'm very concerned with this Packers game because I think they are one of the best teams in football. And I think specifically their defense is like matches up perfectly against the Broncos offense. So, I mean, we'll see. We got Sean Payton at the end of the day, but like they really want you to hit those intermediate hole shots against zone. They are so fast to the perimeter against the screen and the outside runs. And you have to really run at them at the end of the day. And what does Denver not really do? Bo Nix not as good against zone, specifically middle of the field, intermediate, that 5 to 15 area. That's where they're weak. And we don't have a between the tackles run game with Dobbins out. So I don't know. I mean, Jordan Love, it's Toyota-thon too. We don't want to get too far ahead, but we know how he is during Toyota-thon. If you guys haven't looked up the stats, it's pretty hilarious. He's crazy this time of year. And I know that he had that really bad game against the Eagles, but he probably needs to be in the MVP conversation as well with how he's played and how his stats profile line up. I think May, Stafford, JSN, and of course Love probably in the conversation right now. We got Troy coming in here saying, thank you guys. Thank you so much. And the Broncos will have an 11-game home win streak on the line for that game. Hopefully a 10-game winning streak period. Are we at 10 right now? We're at 9, and then we'll be at 10 because we're at 10 and 2 because we started 1 and 2. So yeah, we'll see. But the big thing coming back around, win the game, stay healthy, right? Like style points are great. Let's come out of it healthy.
And one thing with this game it's looking way ahead, But if the Broncos win this game, they secure themselves the tiebreaker over the New England Patriots. So if they end with the same record, the Patriots or the Broncos take the seed over the Patriots because of that tiebreaker. And this game would secure it if they can beat the Raiders. So the rest of the season wouldn't matter for the tiebreaker. Obviously, it matters for the overall record. But there's a lot on the line with this one with the playoffs as well, not just with the Broncos and the Patriots, but it gives them a really even increased chance. It gets them to like over 80% to win the division, where they're still sitting at like just under 70, I think is what it is to win the division right now. So, and it, a win also can start opening up clinching scenarios in week 15, depending on how some other games go, of course, this week. But, a win is a big step towards making sure the Broncos are in the playoffs this year. They got to get it done.
And I think this is maybe the most important first round bye season we've seen in a bit, just given like last year, no offense to the Broncos or some teams a few years, but like the 7 seed has been kind of a joke a lot of seasons. Like the 2-7 game has not been, I don't think, competitive a single time since they've expanded the field. This year, you're talking about the Bills, you're talking about the Texans, you're talking about the Chiefs. So like some years it'd be like, oh, 1 seed would be good, but like 2 seeds still getting to play that 7 at home. That's great. I'd rather not this season. Now, granted, Broncos over everything. You got to beat the best to be the best, whatever. But like, can we get that auto win in that first one? It's so important. The Patriots schedule, unfortunately, not that tough. I think they get the Bills at home. They play at the Ravens, but like the Ravens look very mediocre, like aggressively mid. And then they have the Jets and the Dolphins as well, which like the Dolphins, if you remember 2015, we thought we were going to have to be a 2 seed or potentially, I think even maybe a 5 seed in that last game, week 17, 2015. And the Dolphins beat the Patriots and then the Broncos won to secure the number 1 seed. And la-di-da, the rest is history. We got some hardware to show for that one. Speaking of hardware, coming in here, Troy Brewer with our super chat. Thank you so much. Click the thumbs up if you guys can't be like Troy. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Diamond Rattler in the house as well. Great to see you. Michael Ronquillo with a salute. Happy with our Walmart friends and family here. Go Walton Penner team, go. And we're going to get out of here. Make sure you guys are following Eric and I on Twitter. Eric's at Eric Trickle. I'm at Nick Kendall, MHH. Follow us at MHH Pod as well as at Mile High Huddle. We're over at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. Don't always show this one, but this time of year, especially end of year metrics, your Spotify Wrapped or whatever, if you have us in your top Spotify Wrapped, I know people like Chad and Zach Moore. I don't get it. We're way more beautiful. But no, I'm just kidding. Love you guys. Don't cancel me. But head over there, leave a 5-star review, all that good stuff. That really helps us a heck of a lot. And as the ticker says there underneath, subscribe, like, and share, become a member, all that good stuff as well. I know the holidays can be tough, especially with where people's wallets are at these days, with the buying power and everything, but it helps us a lot. So if you have the ability, I mean, I shouldn't say this out loud. If you have the ability to give here, that's great. Find other charities this time of a year, maybe, where you can help some people, get some Toys for Tots. Great. Donate that way, anything. We appreciate anything, but there's really big things. And I always like to say 988, call the suicide hotline as well. This time of year can be tough and isolating for a lot of people, but you're not alone. And again, I'm working my butt off at my new job right now, which is great. I'm appreciative for that, but hit us up on Twitter too if you just need a little distraction for a little bit to talk ball, and you can go as deep as you want. I mean, we're here. We're here. You're not alone. So appreciate everyone. Eric, always appreciate you. Coach Chris coming in as well. Gifted 10 Mile High Huddle memberships. That's awesome, Coach. Thank you. The dude abides here. Eric, any final words before we wrap it up?
No, just as what Nick was saying, donate charities. Angel trees are always a great thing for kids who are, in a little bit less off and unfortunate situations or whatever they may be. That's a great thing. Plenty of other charities. And of course, as Nick said, suicide hotline is always there as an option. But so our Twitter or even Facebook messages, you can hit us up on either of those and just talk our ear off. Even if you don't want to get into your issues and you just want to talk, we're there for you. We understand. I know I've been there. I can't speak for Nick. It's tough to get out of it, but there are people who care and there are people who are willing to listen.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys have a great one. Appreciate the heck out of you. We'll see you again on Monday, hopefully a victory Monday. At that, hopefully everybody stays healthy. Have a good one. Here's hoping it warms up a little bit in Denver. Stay safe. Kindness, compassion. Go Broncos.